Hey, what's up, Algebra 2? Here we are with, it's kind of a dual lesson here, 2.6, 2.7, talking parent functions and transformations. So a parent function is just the simplest or most basic graph for that particular type of function. Alright, first function we have up is the constant function. F of x equals constant a, where a can be any number. So f of x equals 3, or maybe you're thinking like y equals 3. Just a flat line, straight across, okay? So that's called the constant function. It's just a flat line, a horizontal line. Alright, our domain would be all real numbers. It goes forever left and right, so we're going to use all the x's. And then our range is just whatever that a value is. The only y we ever use in this case is 3. Okay, the identity function, f of x equals x, or y equals x, is called the identity function because it passes through all the points a, comma a. Alright, 0, comma 0, 1, comma 1, 2, comma 2, 3, comma 3, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, negative 3, negative 3. Okay, all the points that it passes through, they all have the same number. Alright, domain, again, is all real numbers. It goes forever to the right and forever to the left. And range is all real numbers this time because we're not flat. We're going up and down. We go forever up and forever down. So all real numbers on the range on that one as well. Okay, the new one we're talking about today is absolute value. Absolute value of x. Okay, maybe you've dealt with absolute value in the past a little bit, maybe just like intro level. So the absolute value of like 3 is 3, and the absolute value of negative 3 is also 3. So it takes whatever's inside the absolute value box, or absolute value bars, or brackets, or whatever you want to call them, and it makes it positive, or 0. Okay? So 0 would be 0, 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4. Okay? But on the other side, negative 1 comes out as positive 1. Negative 2 comes out as positive 2. Negative 3 comes out as positive 3. So that's what it does. It takes whatever's on the inside and makes it positive. Okay? So our domain for this function is all real numbers because it goes forever to the right and forever to the left. And the most basic absolute value one, this is it, just absolute value of x. There's no other like adjusters on it, no plus or minuses anywhere. Okay, the lowest I get is 0. And it goes up forever. It does not go down forever. The lowest it goes is 0, and then it stops there and turns back around. So it's not all real numbers because I don't use the negatives. The lowest is 0, and everything above that. So all my y's are greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and there's the quadratic function, x squared. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Negative 1 squared is still positive 1. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Okay, negative 3 is 9. So it's kind of similar to this one, except this one has a constant slope each direction. And this one's getting steeper as we go. Again, all real numbers, and again, our range is greater than or equal to 0. We're going to mainly focus on absolute value today. We're going to come back and hit this one in a later time. But just wanted it's there, so we'll talk about it. Okay, so that was basically the section 6 part, was just looking at these and being able to graph them. Let me show you while I'm thinking about it where the absolute value is on your calculator. It can be kind of tough to find. All right, 2 ways to find absolute value on your calculator. Math, push the math button, and then slide over to number, and there's the first thing, ABS, absolute value. I don't think it's going to, oh, it does. If you have the, depending on what kind of calculator you have, it might give you the bars. It might just say add ABS parentheses. So this one's giving me the bars. So if I put negative 5 in there, it should come out as positive 5. Yep. All right, so, or another way to get that is if you push second catalog, second 0, ABS is the first thing. All right, so for graphing it, math, number, ABS, X, graph. All right, there we go. So translations. Moves figures around, moves our graph around, up, down, left, and right. A reflection is going to flip it, and a dilation is going to shrink or enlarge it. So we have it here for the quadratic, for the squared. I'm going to also write, it's the same thing for absolute value. Plus or minus a absolute value x minus h plus k. Okay, it's the same pattern for x squared, for absolute value, for all the other things we're going to talk about in Algebra 2a and Algebra 2b. Okay? If there's the multiplier on the outside is going to stretch or shrink it. Stretch, or remember, sometimes it's called compress. If it's negative in the front, it's going to flip it. Okay? Inside the parentheses or inside the absolute value bars, if there's a plus or a minus in there, it's going to shift it horizontally left and right, and it's opposite. Just it's a tough thing to get through your head. Once you do and get it to stick there, it's going to be awesome because you won't make any silly mistakes. And when you use it for your next couple math classes, inside parentheses, when you're talking about graphing, is going to go opposite of what you think. So a minus actually goes to the right, and a plus is going to go to the left. In any vertical shifting is any big plus or minus on the outside of the box. And that is normal, or the same as what you would think. A plus is going to slide it up, and a minus will slide things down. Okay. Let's see what we've got. So this is the next page on the notes. If you didn't print this off, the graph paper PDF should be in the miscellaneous folder online there, and you should be able to print that off, or any graph paper you can find on Google or whatever. All right, so sometimes it can be helpful if you want to make a T-chart, X and Y. We're going to try to get to where we don't need a T-chart, but you can certainly use it as a backup whenever you get stuck. All right, y equals the absolute value of x. Think about what we talked the absolute value of x was. It takes whatever's in there and makes it positive. So if I have positive 2 in there, it's still positive 2. If I have positive 1 in there, my y value is going to be positive 1. 0 comes out 0. Negative 1 comes out as positive 1. Negative 2 is going to come out as positive 2. Okay, so I have 2, 2. 1, 1, 0, 0, negative 1, positive 1, negative 2, positive 2. All right, and we just graph it out like that. And there's our absolute value V. Absolute value has that V, so we should know it's going to be a V graph. Okay. Next one. I'm just going to keep using the same 5 points here. Absolute value of x plus 2 more. So think about what we talked about. If there's a big plus or minus on the outside it should shift things vertically. So a plus 2 should slide things up 2. So it's going to be the exact same graph as this, just everything is bumped up 2 spots. And we'll find out here. We'll keep using the T-chart for the first couple, and we'll try to shift away from that as we go here. So absolute value of 2 is 2, plus 2 makes it 4. Absolute value of 1 is 1, plus 2 makes it 3. 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. Negative 1 comes out as positive 1, plus 2 makes it 3. Negative 2 comes out as positive 2, plus 2 more makes it 4. Okay? So we'll have 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's the same graph, It's just everything got bumped up 2 spots, right? All these moved up 2 spots. Okay, what about a +2 in the middle? All right. Now, according to our sheet on the other side, in the middle moves things left and right, and a plus is actually going to go left. Okay, so I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. We're going to go to 3 this time. It's going to be a little bit longer. 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. Okay. 3 plus 2 is 5, which comes out as 5. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 2 is 3. 0 plus 2 is still 2. Okay, -1 plus 2 is a +1. Absolute value of +1 still comes out as a +1. -2 plus 2 makes it 0. Absolute value of 0 is still 0. And here's where we finally flip it back over. -3 plus 2 is -1. -1 absolute value makes it back to +1. So you can see, we said it's going to move it 2 to the left, opposite. +2, you're kind of thinking, oh, 2 to the right. But it's actually opposite. It's going to go left. And you can see that's where we have our 0, and then it turns back around. So 3, 5. Okay, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. At -2, we had 0, and at -3, we finally flipped it back up. And we can know it's going to keep going up that way. Okay, so a +2 inside there. Just took this and slid it 2 to the left. All right. What is a big ×2 in the front going to do? We'll go back to our 2, 1, 0. All right. Absolute value of 2 is 2. ×2 makes it 4. Absolute value of 1 is 1. ×2 makes it 2. Absolute value of 0 is 0. ×2 is still 0. -1 comes out as +1. ×2 is 2. -2 comes out as +2. ×2 is 4. So you can see our y values are a lot bigger. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 0, 0. -1, 2. And -2, 4. So you kind of saw me do this right here from this dot, and I went 1, 2, and I went 1, 2. Okay, so after you graph enough of these, you'll start picking up tips and tricks on your own here of how to kind of do some shortcuts. That once you find the turnaround point, these all just reflected over. So for this one, again, the middle was the y-axis, so then I can just go 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I know where the other dot's going to be. Okay, you got to think a little bit more when there's left and right shifting. Okay, your first couple times doing this, guys, it's going to take you a while, and then the more you do, the better you'll get. Excuse me. And then you'll be finding these little tips and shortcuts that is going to make graphing a lot easier. All right. Ooh, we got a double shifter. -1 on the inside, -3 on the outside. All right. So if you want to do the T-chart, go ahead and do the T-chart. I'm going to try to do something crazy here. Let's try to do this without a T-chart. Okay. So -1 should move it to which way? 1 to the right. -3 is going to move it down 3. So I'm going to go 1 right, down 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's my middle point, the point of the V. All of these, first 3, have gone up 1, out 1 from our middle point. Up 1, out 1, up 1, out 1, except this one went up 2, out 2, because it had a multiplier of 2. So your multiplier in the front can kind of be thought of as your slope. Okay, this one doesn't have anything, so it's just a 1, so it's going to go up 1, out 1. in each direction. Up 1, out 1. Up 1, out 1. Got to remember, up 1, out 1 in each direction, it's got to make a V. And there it is. Okay? You can double check that if you want. Let's look at graphing on the calculator. Y equals math over to numbers, absolute value, x minus 1 on the inside, bump it out, out, minus 3, and there it is, 1 to the right and 3 down. If you wanted to get some points from this, again, we could push trace and just type in x equals 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, and get a bunch of points. You could push second graph to get to your table, and there's a bunch of points. Lots of different ways to confirm there with your calculator. Okay, this one, there's nothing on the inside, so there's no left and right. We have a big plus 4 on the outside. So I'm not moving left and right at all, but I am going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we just kind of talked about this multiplier on the outside is your slope in both directions, okay? Like this one, I went up 2, out 1 both ways because it's a V. It's not a straight line. It's going to make a V, so I got to go up 2, out 1, left and right. And then I just keep going up 2, out 1, both ways. So we got a negative here. So this one's going to go down 2, out 1, both directions. It's going to make an upside down V. And again, if you want to make your T-chart and test that out, you certainly can. All right, and you might need to for the first couple, and that's fine. You might need to. You might need to do your T-charts for the first whole assignment, and that's fine. But we want to get to where we can just look at it and know what each piece does. Oh, this is going to go right 1, down 3. There's my starting point, and now I just make my V, up 1, out 1. Oh, I don't move left and right at all. I do go up 4. There's my starting point. Negative 2 multiplier, boom, 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 boom. That's what we want to try to get to. Okay, that's going to take practice. It's going to take time. You're not going to be able to just watch this video and do 1 or 2 problems in class and be a pro when it comes time for a quiz or a test. Okay, you need to be practicing and doing the homework on your own. Ooh, look at this side. Inequalities. Inequalities. Yikes. So now we got to start thinking solid line, dotted line. Shade up, shade down. I don't know. Greater than or equal to x. So there's no left and right. There's no up and down. It's just starting here at 0, 0 and going up 1, out 1 each way. Greater than or equal to, so a solid lines. Okay, we got to start thinking about that when we see inequalities. We got to think solid line versus dotted line, and we also have to remember to shade. Everyone forgets to shade. Okay, to me, greater than means up. I'm just going to go up right here, in between the V. In between the V's. All right, inside the V, up inside the V. If you need to test a point, let's see, 0, 0 is actually on the line, so we can't test that. How about 0, 5? Is 5 greater than the absolute value of 0? Yes, we want that side, in between the V. Okay, sliding over. Y is less than absolute value, x plus 2 minus 1. What does it do inside the absolute value box? Left and right. Is it opposite or is it the same? Okay, it's opposite. So this is actually going to go, you see the plus, you want to go to the right, but we're actually going to go left 2 spots. Left 2. Okay. Big plus or minus on the outside controls up and down. And that's exactly the same as what you naturally want to think. So a minus 1 is going to go down. So here's where we're starting. Okay, there's no multiplier on the outside, so I'm just going to be going up 1, out 1. So we'll do a couple of those dots in each direction. Okay, less than. So it's telling me dotted or dashed lines going out. Okay. And less than to me says down, under the V. Okay, you can test a point. Well, 0, 0 is not on it, so we can do that one. 0 plus 2 is 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Minus 1 is 1. Is 0 less than 1? Yes, just barely, but it is. So we do want a shade on the underside there. All right. Let's have you look at those. We got a negative here. We got a times 2 there. Let's have you push pause, and let's just see if you can get those two on your own. Okay, those are kind of tough. There's a lot going on. Both of them have three things, right? They have an inside shift, an outside shift, and a multiplier. This is just a negative, but it is still going to flip it. So plus 3 on the inside moves it 1, 2, 3 to the left. A plus 4 on the outside moves it 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Negative means I'm going to be going down instead of up. Less than or equal to, solid lines. And less than to me says shade down. So it's going to be under, and it's actually inside the V. You could test 0, 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. Absolute value of 3 is also 3. Then there's the negative sign waiting for it on the outside, which now makes it a negative 3. Plus 4 is positive 1. Is 0 less than positive 1? Yes. That was kind of tough. And then on this one, we move 1 to the right, 7 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. Multiplier of 2, so I'm going up 2, out 1. Up 2, out 1. Both directions from my center point. Greater than, dotted lines, and shade up. All right, again, 0, 0 is not on the V, so I can use it. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1. Times 2 is 2. Minus 7 is negative 5. Is 0 bigger than negative 5? Yes, so shade that side. There we go, guys. That's something brand new, absolute value. You probably haven't done a whole lot with that. At least graphing it anyways. So again, take your time. You might need to use those T-charts until you get the patterns down. Once you get the patterns down, guys, then we can just go left, right, put your V-dot, and then your slope out from there. Things get really easy. But it just takes time and practice until you get there. So you definitely need to be working on those. And like I said, you'll just pick up patterns the more you do. So thanks for watching, guys. Good luck on that homework. Let me know if you have any questions.